defence.
Well, the Lions played the second test here in 2001. There were 3 Welshmen on the side that day. The Lions were hammered. Let's hope we don't get a similar result. No survivors from that Lions side, though, in this Welsh team, as Wales, in white, remember, in the change strip, get us underway in a match you feel they must win. They've got games coming up against Italy and against Tonga and New Zealand. You'd think they would beat Italy and Tonga. So this match, well, maybe not a virtual quarter-final decider, but not far away from that.
No, indeed, first scrum always important, especially for the front 5. Set their stall out for the afternoon. And Chris White already making his first big decision.
And penalising the Welsh front row. Morgan Williams playing at scrum half for Canada, another one of those experienced players who played for Stade Francais. There's Robin McBride, and the fullback for Canada, James Pritchard, born in Australian Randwick, one of the quicker players in this sluggish Canadian backline. Mike James at the front of the line-out, played for Stade Francais in the Heineken Cup final against Leicester, which Leicester won. Mark Lawson. No wind, of course, so that's going to help the throwers in, and taken at number 5 by Mike James. A little bit scrappy, and a little knock forward too from a Welsh hand, and Canada get the scrummage.
Yes, pity. Wales could have snaffled that one and got one against Lawson's throw. But second scrum of the day, and again tactically interesting how the Canadians play it in the first 15-20 minutes.
Morgan Williams back to Bob Ross, the very experienced Bob Ross. Coming into the line is Nick Witkowski, the lane replacement, the former Swansea centre, deep inside the Welsh 22. Morgan Williams picks up, it's Bob Ross, Didier Alamu, it's Yeston Harris who knocks the ball out of his hands crucially. And Nick Witkowski was clean through that Welsh defence. This is Ross. Dave Lockheed, the former Leicester winger, trying to rip the ball free is Colin Hughes in this Canadian squad, because John Tate's daughter is ill, a very experienced John Tate, giving John Hughes his opportunity. And as you were saying, Jimmy, they're going to play it very physically, these Canadians, in the early stages.
They certainly are. That's another penalty they've given away. Chris White played advantage after that Canadian knock-on, but certainly Kerry Sweeney's got to get hold of his back row and work out quite why Witkowski got so much space to move through and go 20-30 yards. So that's dangerous for Wales. They're going to watch that. And Canada in a good position, 15 yards out. And this rolling maul will become a feature, I fear, for Wales in this first half especially.
Mark Lawson looking to pick out his man, Colin Hughes, and Mike James, the targets perhaps, goes long this time, taken by Josh Jackson, the number 8. Williams, Bob Ross with a drop and goal, and it's sweet as a nut, and Canada take the lead here against Wales. They've made a very impressive start. We expected them to show a lot of aggression. They've done that. They've won good clean ball, and they deserve that lead.
Yes, they do. They've got down into Welsh territory, got a scoring position. Bob Ross in the pocket. Thank you very much. Straight through the post, 3-0. And Wales have got to compose themselves now, get rid of these errors, these knock-ons and things, stop giving away penalties, and have a spell in the Canadian half.
So Ross, the 34-year-old, 57 times cap, takes his total of points for Canada to 407. Lived in the shadow of Gareth Rees for quite a long time, the legendary Canadian out half. That's Rod Snow in there working hard, the loose head for Canada. Morgan Williams. Blindside option this time, and well followed up by Dave Lockheed.
And a pretty good pinpoint kick too from Morgan Williams, the Canadian scrum half. Good tackle into touch, and importantly gives Canada the throw.
David Jones was hit hard there, and they've won that line out, but it's scrappy ball this time for the Maple Leafs. Cleared out once more, and all the ball in these early stages being won by Canada. In goes Dave Lockheed, working like an extra flank forward. Lawson goes to ground now. Williams again, he's looking down that blind side once more, goes back to Ross. And again, they're chipping away down the narrow avenue on that far side of the pitch. And Kevin Morgan knocks the ball into touch. It was Girolamo up quickly, and it's all going Canada's way, and they've clearly worked out their tactics precisely here.
Well, that was the kick that time from Bob Ross. Before it was Morgan Williams into the box. They just want to play it down there, play around the Welsh 22. And certainly Kevin Morgan looked a little bit hesitant to fall back there. He's got to be strong, secure and confident in that back three.
Robin McBride, number 4 is Brent Cobain, the brother of Matt Cobain, the Australian, but taken by the vastly experienced Gareth Llewellyn, 80th cap for his country today, the former Harlequin, like the man to my right, Jimmy Salmon. And at last, ball for Wales. Gareth Cooper, Colin Jarvis drives into that Canadian defence. It was Van Stavenen with the tackle. Kerry Sweeney into a little bit of space. Back there goes Pritchard and has to play it.
Well, it wasn't the greatest kick by Sweeney, to be frank with you. It went straight down the middle of the field. It was deep, so there could be no pressure from the other Welsh backs onto Pritchard, who had all the time in the world to look up and put it back onto the Canadian 10-metre line. But hopefully Wales can keep some possession, get these runners like Jarvis running at the Canadian backs.
McBride, again it's Gareth Llewellyn, and this is Cobain, not known for his handling skills, but he takes that one pretty well. A little bit better from Wales, better phase from them. Good step by Iestyn Harris. Colin Jarvis in support. Cooper, Sweeney, players wide for Wales. Kevin Morgan into the line.
Much better from Wales, asking questions of the Canadian defence. Are they organised? Are they going to make the first up tackles? And McBride had a go there on the short side, and then it came right. So much better from Wales. Put some pressure on the opposition. Make them make the tackles.
Mark Lawson. And again, you don't want a slap tap back in your own 22. Put your defence, your scrum half under pressure. But they've tidied the ball up well. Here's Bob Ross. Oh, Colin Jarvis charging and late. Now Jarvis hit Bob Ross very hard there, and it was above the shoulders. So Chris White's got his first difficult decision to make, and Bob Ross doesn't look too happy.
Well, here he sits, the right arm of Jarvis to watch out for. Now, I don't think there was it wasn't a close fist. I didn't think there was serious intent there from Jarvis. He certainly could have pulled out of it, don't get me wrong, and as captain he should have set an example, and I think he's going to walk here, yellow card.
Well, it is poor discipline, Jamie, there's no question about that. You know, your captain, you're expecting a lot from him, and he's going to sit in the sin bin now for 10 minutes. And can Canada capitalise?
He didn't hit him hard. I think Ross made a pretty good meal of it, and Jarvis is certainly upset at White's decision, but I still think he could have lifted his arm and therefore avoided Ross.
Well, back row forwards always want to make an early impression on the opposition out half, just to let them know they're around, and I'm sure that was in the thinking of Colin Jarvis, because that's just the way back rows think. They are, sunshine, take a bit of that, I'm here. But he's paid for it.
Well, you take the risk out of it, that's what you should do, especially early on.
Absolutely, Mark Lawson drives in. Canadian pack has looked pretty good so far. A well-coached Canadian pack, but players in front accidental offside this time. And they've been coached, Jimmy, by Topo Rodriguez, the former Australian and Argentinian prop forward, and maybe he's made an impact.
He certainly has, and the Canadians aren't famous for their scrummaging, but Topo's been down here all week, we gather. First break in play, first time there's an injury, I think, to Robin McBride. Bit odd seeing Wales in white, I have to say, but I hope I get used to it over the rest of the game. But first Welsh put in, and tactically I think they should look to very much play in the Canadian half. I think they've got to settle themselves down. It hasn't gone to plan. There's been errors, and obviously compounded by what Jarvis did as he sits alone on the touchline. But somebody's got to stand up now. Who's going to be the leader in the forward pack? Their captain's off. Who's going to be the leader? Llewellyn's obviously experienced, as is McBride. But they've got to stand up now, especially in this next 10 minutes.
So 7 players in that Welsh pack, remember, with Jarvis in the bin. Gareth Thomas, Robin McBride, Gareth Llewellyn, Martin Williams and Colin Jarvis between them, 279 caps. So that's what I mean about the depth of experience in this Welsh team.
And only 7 forwards, remember, so this scrum can't afford to collapse. Quick ball is what Wales need, in and out. Get it to the 8, he drives, and that's what's going to happen.
Cobain showing his strength. Cooper to Sweeney, and he's outside the 22. Oh, and it's charged down. Can Bob Ross pick it up? No, he can't. Sonny Parker. And Sweeney again under incredible pressure from the Canadians. They really are up for this game. They are like terriers out there.
Well, they certainly are, but some of the senior pros in the Welsh team should be saying to the ref, look behind please, because they're creeping a yard or two, the Canadians, and you go as far as you can and you test the referee, but some of the senior players saying, please ref, look behind, we think they're creeping. There's nothing wrong in doing that. Certainly Cooper's got to find Sweeney a lot quicker and put it more in the breadbasket, because the first charge down was not a great pass.
The ball seemed to be in the air almost forever there, and it was Josh Jackson who took it. Now Bob Ross, and almost hits the roof here at the Telstra Dome as Canada follow up. No knock forward, says Chris White, and Morgan Williams has it now. Out on the blind side, it's Al Sharon, the 37-year-old captain. Again, deep inside the Welsh 22, Bob Ross with the attempted drop-in goal. No advantage. And a penalty to Canada, and the Canadians are almost doing a Yanni de Beer here. I mean, they're looking for those drop-it goals and trying to pick those points up, get the points on the board.
Yes, I think on that occasion Bob Ross had perhaps seen White's arm out, indicating the advantage and the decision he could make against Wales for the offside. But it's the tactics aren't hard to read, are they? They're just getting down there, getting in position, and they'll take 3 points, whether it's by a penalty kick or a drop goal. And yes, as looks like they're questioning themselves at the moment, Wales. They don't quite know where they are.
Well, as you were saying at the start of the game, Wales have to absorb the Canadian enthusiasm and then let their extra skill take over.
But it's jittery and nervous, isn't it? You know, a couple of charge down, a couple of drop passes, a couple of penalties given away, captain's in the bin for 10 minutes. You just don't need this in your opening 10 minutes of the World Cup, especially, you know, there's been a few comments about the Welsh build-up and having to cook for themselves and fend for themselves. So here comes Ross.
Well, that's a big kick from Ross, and a crucial miss by the man who has played a game or two for Cardiff. That's as Morgan Williams, his half-back partner, stays at 3 points to 0. That's Robin McBride, the British Lion. Went on tour to Australia, of course, in 2001. Kerry Sweeney with the restart and gives the ball straight back to Canada, to Pritchard. In goes Morgan. Oh, Kevin Morgan's lost out here.
Big call by Chris White. Big call, Pritchard said to him, it wasn't me, ref. Al Sharon's having another pop as well. But great kick. It drew Kevin Morgan outside the 22. And Josh Jackson on hand to pick up the scraps. But they're kicking well out of hand, Canada, putting pressure on the Welsh defenders, allowing them and allowing the Canadian players to compete for the ball.
Well, the referee saying that it was a forward pass by Josh Jackson. And if it hadn't been, Canada could have been in. This Welsh team really is under a lot of pressure here, and Canada are playing just the right sort of rugby against Wales. And at the moment I'm glad I'm not Welsh, because I'd be very nervous indeed. Wales have suffered some pretty embarrassing and horrendous defeats in recent years. And at the moment it's all Canada. Wales can hardly get their hands on the ball. They've only occasionally been inside the Canadian half, making no impression whatsoever. Gareth Cooper. Remember, Colin Jarvis is still in the sin bin. Sweeney.
Better kick from Sweeney. Hopefully that gives him a lift. Better pass from Cooper as well. Get the set plays right, get the line-outs, get the scrums right, and things will happen from there. At the moment, with Chalmers off the pitch, I think he's their best runner, i.e. ball in hand, attacking people like Ross, the fly half, setting up that second phase. But somebody, as I said before, is going to step up and take that responsibility.
For a ball for Morgan Williams, again he had to work to recover it. That's Di Girolamo, darting runner, good sevens player, has played in the World Series for Canada. That's Bob Ross. Again, lots of height on that ball. Clear tactic from the Canadians, and then they follow up hard and follow up, well, usually effectively. This time, I think it's the first time actually that they've knocked it forward. But they're playing rugby almost in the old Irish style here.
Yeah, they certainly are. The other key man at the moment for Wales, with the ball that Canada are getting and the way Ross is playing it and Morgan Williams is playing it, I think that's Kevin Morgan down. I was just about to mention him, how important it is that he controls the two wingers and himself positionally and organising themselves. And he thought he was through there, didn't he?
Yeah, Mike James, another very experienced player who played for Stade Francais in that Heineken Cup final against Leicester a couple of years ago, making his 49th appearance. Kevin Morgan, who's come back well from two very serious knee injuries, to return to the fullback berth for Wales. Wales in white, remember, in change strip. Free kick this time to the Welsh, and it's Kerry Sweeney. And it's out of the full, and again, no control from the Welsh. Colin Jarvis, 2 minutes to go, he can't wait to get back on.
Lack of organisation, I think, really, and just a little bit too frantic. You've got the free kick, why rush it? Why put yourselves under pressure again? Fortuitously, Ross missed that kick. They haven't conceded any more points while Jarvis has been off. Must be only a couple of minutes before he comes back on again. So hold fire, and here they go.
Williams picks the ball up, chance for Wales. Here's Sweeney to Iestyn Harris. Iestyn Harris looking for the gap. Canadian defence is suspect. Sonny Parker in support. Cooper gets it out to Jones. Tackle from Thiel. Robin McBride support from the front row. Gareth Thomas, he's strong. Inside that Welsh 22. Good ball for Wales. And coming off his wing and looking for the try as number 14, Mark Jones. And Wales have a chance here. They've got numbers if they can spread it wide. Wales in the corner, surely. It's a try for them, and it's scored by Sonny Parker. And with the team reduced to 14 men, the Welsh have scored what could turn out to be a very important try indeed. That should surely settle them down.
That does nothing well, but super play by Wales. Kept it controlled, disciplined, didn't rush it too much, didn't panic. Iestyn Harris with the first breakthrough. They went down the other side, and this is the last phase of play. A wide ball out. Rocky tries to take man and ball, good hands through, and there's Sonny Parker to finish it off.
Beautiful hands in the midfield, and the man who's born in New Zealand settles the pulses of the Welsh.
But both forwards and backs got a touch there, so that was important for them. They should take great confidence from this. First time they've got anywhere near it, they've scored a try.
Iestyn Harris with a fine conversion for Wales. 2,000 plus points in rugby league, where he was a bit of a legend. Has struggled to settle into the Union game, and Steve Hansen will be a little bit happier alongside of Alan Phillips, the former Wales and Lions hooker, his assistant. Or one of them, picked up by Williams. This is Gareth Thomas. Tackled by Hughes, and Cooper back to Sweeney. Colin Jarvis rises to his feet on the touchline. There you are, he's got that 42 seconds precisely to get back onto the pitch. Wales scoring that try in his absence. Mike James, Canada so often gone to the tail. This time they try to find Josh Jackson, who'd moved up on the line to the middle. But Canada eventually getting the ball back to Morgan Williams. Bob Ross, Di Girolamo, has that try taken the steam out of the Canadians. Penalty, not releasing the ball though, to Wales.
Martin Williams, the number 7 for Wales, has got into it in the last few minutes, putting pressure on Ross and the midfielder Canada. That's what they want. Now they can start controlling the game. Sweeney's got plenty of time. High up the touchline, put it down there. Wales's throw. Llewellyn's got the first couple of takes thrown to him. And as this goes out, and I think Jarvis will come back on now.
There he is, back to their full complement of 15 players. Canada so far though playing tactically astute rugby, coached by Dave Clark, an Australian highly respected in this country, who set up the Australian Institute of Sport. That's Llewellyn, 35 years of age now. Josh Jackson's done some good work on the line-out, getting his hand to the ball there. Very competitive. Morgan Williams now on this blind side, rippling forward is Rod Snow. Couldn't touch them. McBride takes it quickly. Gareth Thomas, Colin Jarvis. Now Martin Williams, can they spread it wide? Charging up in defence was Adam van Stavenen, but Wales move forward again. This is more like it from the Welsh. Gareth Cooper sees a little bit of space. Across comes Pritchard. Pritchard under all sorts of pressure from Kerry Sweeney and Gareth Thomas.
Here's Snow going up the touchline, just puts a foot in touch. There it is. Anything on the line is out. But I just think Canada are missing a few first-up tackles now, and that gives Wales great encouragement. Gareth Llewellyn, main ball winner at the moment.
4 seasons with Quins, 7 times captain of Wales. Gareth Llewellyn, up he goes again. The lineouts are becoming very scrappy indeed. It was Colin Jarvis who got the ball eventually, but it certainly wasn't the aim for him. Now Cooper to Sweeney. Sweeney, that little half gap. Support is there. It's Sonny Parker again, but crossing, I think.
May have just gone forward, I think, in the tackle, or as he was trying to get the pass to Sonny Parker. But very encouraging, wasn't it? Sweeney having the confidence, have a burst on the inside of Ross. Oh, he was in.
It was a knock forward, of course it wasn't. Well, look at that, 2 metres short. Sonny Parker, score of the first try in this match. Free kick against the Welsh front row again. Second time.
Coming in on the angle is what Chris Wright, the referee, was talking about. Allows Canada to clear their lines. There's Ross. Haven't seen him passing yet. But as it was a free kick, it's Wales is thrown into the line out, midway 10-metre and 22-yard line. McBride's missed his man the last couple. He's got to get it back.
Well, they're short this time, and that's a good little line out. Brent Cobain at the front of that line out. Cooper. Sweeney. Driving into the line is the tight head prop, Gethin Jenkins. Good ball again for Wales. Here's Kerry Sweeney. Oh, poor pass. Kevin Morgan was the man who they hoped would be on the receiving end, but Canada are caught offside in front of their own posts.
Don't take that line again.
Good front of the line-up move from Wales. Then got one of their runners involved, Gethin Jenkins, made the gain line, set up good second phase ball, and Canada caught offside, and it'll be a standard, dare I say it, 3 points for Wales now to increase their lead.
It's okay, yeah.
Robert McBride just asking about the scrum interpretation, which cost them a couple of decisions so far.
Well, it is what we expected. Wales to absorb the hammering from the Canadians in the opening phase of this match and then hit back, and that's what they've done. 3 more points on the board from the boot of Yeston Harris, and Wales extend their lead now 10 points to 3.
Well, the last 5-7 minutes has all been Wales, which is tremendous for them, the way they've fought back into this game, and they can now really approach it with confidence.
Taken by Cobain. Most of the Canadian pack looked to be in front of the kicker there, but the referee didn't spot it. Morgan Williams underneath that ball, and here's Pritchard. That's, well, not such a good kick from Pritchard. Oh, it's bouncing nicely for Canada though. And Wales have to work hard enough to clear their lines. Another bad clearing kick though, and from inside his own 22, Gareth Cooper. Morgan Williams. Winston Stanley. Tackle coming in from Duncan Jones, the blonde-haired Welsh prop forward. Gareth Thomas seemed to be taken out of it there, but knocked on, no advantage.
Wasn't the greatest passage of play, and I think Kevin Morgan, the Welsh fullback, I think he's carrying a bit of an injury. He got some treatment earlier on, but he's looking very hesitant to me at the back, and he's just got to control that. He's got to be a man that the forwards look back to and get confidence from.
Brent Cobain is the man who's injured. His nickname is Disaster because he has a habit of injuring his own players in training. Born in Coffs Harbour and qualifies for Wales under the residency rule. His brother has 60 caps for Australia. Brent Cobain, the Celtic warrior. And remember, much more World Cup rugby coming up on ITV later on today. At 11 o'clock, Scotland against Japan from hot and steamy Townsville, and then at 1 o'clock England get their World Cup campaign, the favourites, underway against Georgia in Perth. And all the details on the website itv.com/RWC. But here at Melbourne, the Telstra Dome, it's Wales against Canada, and Wales leading by 10 points to 3. Sonny Parker scoring the only try of the match so far, and Wales have definitely settled down in the last 10 minutes.
Yes, they most certainly have. They'll be very happy with that. If they can get their runners going at the Canadian midfield, and their first up tackling all round, I think, looks shaky for Canada. And with the extra pace they've got in the back line, hopefully they can get a couple more tries before half-time.
Robin McBride, Cobain. McBride drives hard. That's the Canadian 22.
There's no more for. And hold, engage.
Slip on the front row this time, so we'll have that scrum reset once more. Morgan Williams, who scored 3 tries in the last World Cup, Canada's top scorer in that event. That's Josh Jackson. No scrum half, so Winston Stanley has to go in, gets the ball back to Bob Ross. Wasn't a great pass, he was put under pressure by Martin Williams, and that forces Bob Ross to miss-touch. Here's Thomas, Cobain, good support by Cobain, the ball given away though by Kevin Morgan. Here come Canada, that's Mike James, number 5, plays his rugby in France and sets the ball well for Morgan Williams. Now it's the rumbustious figure of Al Sharon, the 37-year-old, playing in his 4th World Cup, but no real progress now for Wales, for Canada. Djiralamo, that kick designed to be kept in play, the ball to be kept in play, picked up by Jones, and Jones has gone away from Djiralamo, and Wales develop from here. Yeston Harris, probing kick forward. That's Pritchard. Much more of the play now in Canadian territory. Morgan underneath it. Wales prepared to run. Gareth Llewellyn throws the long pass to Gareth Thomas. Robin McBride is in support, and it's a knock forward though by the loosehead prop Duncan Jones. Advantage to Canada. Advantage is played. Bob Ross, little bit of space deep. It wasn't a great kick though by Bob Ross. He sliced it. Kevin Morgan. Williams, Pritchard takes on Kevin Morgan. A lot of kicking going on there at the moment, and neither side gaining much ground. That was Rod Snow off the chest, says referee Chris White, so it's no knock forward. Rod Snow fancies a try from 80 metres, doesn't quite get there, and Canada not staying on their feet, driving over the top and giving away the penalty.
Yes, Mark Lawson-Hooker went straight in on Snow. There's the culprit. Snow was never going to enter into the kicking game that preceded him picking up that ball in his own 22, and the referee said it was off his chest, but doesn't look to use his trusty left foot or his right foot, and gets stopped pretty well, drops the ball at the same time. Penalty. Iestyn Harris struck the first couple well.
Scored 31 points in his debut for Cardiff, I remember, against Glasgow in the Heineken Cup. What a game he had that day. He looked like a real world beater and the Welsh saviour. And again, he has struck the ball well and extends the Welsh lead here to 13 points to 3 as we approach the half-hour mark here in Melbourne. This spiritual home of Australian sport, where they hold the World Superbike Championship round at Phillip Island, the MotoGP round, Valentino Rossi et al. Coming up next weekend. It's where Valentino Rossi won his first World 500cc title. And this is Williams. Support from Cobain, who's had a pretty sprightly start to this match in the first 30 minutes. Much better from Wales. Thomas dummying the kick and gets support from Llewellyn. Cooper to Sweeney. Iestyn Harris running straight, running hard and with pace. It's good work from Iestyn Harris, and now it's Kevin Morgan. He's got support both sides. It's Kerry Sweeney. Kerry Sweeney is 2 metres short, picked up by Williams. It's advantage to Canada, a knock forward, and Wales so close yet again. And definitely Harris had the options all round him, and he is playing well.
Super play by Wales and great play by Iestyn Harris, because as he got through the gap, he immediately looked for support. And it's just a great pity that when Sweeney went to ground there, they couldn't finish the move off. Let's have a listen in here. I didn't see the flag being put out by Andre Watson.
Yes, Andre Watson, who refereed the World Cup final in 1999. Chris White.
Yes.
Who has refereed here before when France played Australia a couple of years ago. But look at this, beautiful, the straightness of the running from Iestyn Harris there, and also from Kevin Morgan straightening things up too.
Great pass with his left hand, and this is where you've got to stay composed, keep cool, keep calm, and he just knocked it forward as he came in. And don't they just know it?
There's been a lot of head and hands amongst Welsh rugby supporters in recent seasons. But you know, we talk about lines of running, and that was a perfect example of it there from the two Welsh backs, Iestyn Harris and Kevin Morgan, splitting this Canadian defence apart. And as you say, they are now beginning to look suspect there. And of course, they do have a lack of pace, Canada, not just in attack, but also you're going to lack pace in defence too. And Wales seem to have them in that area as Canada bring on a replacement.
Okay.
It's Garth Cook for John Teal.
Stay there, not yet, not yet. Number 9, stay back.
Ross.
Well, he got it away. But that Canadian scrum is looking decidedly shaky now. The last couple, they've been certainly creaking, at least, and they managed to get that one away, but I think Wales have got the upper hand in that department, and this is a great opportunity for them now. Kept them down here, put the pressure on.
McBride to the tail to Jones. Again, it's not really a conclusive line-out. It's Cobain who has to tidy things up. Not a good pass either, but it might yet work out for Wales as Mark Jones comes in off his wing. Here's Cooper. Sweeney looking for Morgan. Gareth Thomas, he's strong. Lots of support there and lots of defence too. And it's well presented, and it's Cooper who goes in. Another try for Wales. It's scored by the scrum half, Gareth Cooper. Some super work again by the Welsh in the build-up, and a well-deserved try.
Well, Gareth Cooper got it, but Gareth Thomas made it. A couple of Canadians have a go, third one has a go. Presents it well, quick ball. That's the difference, quick ball. And Cooper says to the captain, get out of my way. This is my first try for the World Cup. Good hands, nice little pop there. But Thomas does well, the cover gets brushed aside. 2 or 3 of them are attracted into that tackle situation. And busy man that Cooper is, gets over.
And in terms of strength, Gareth Thomas is the Wendell sailor of this Welsh side. Gareth Cooper made such a big impression when he played at Bath. He kept some pretty handy customers out of the side. Andy Nicol and John Preston, who played for New Zealand. And once more, Iestyn Harris. It's metronomic. It's a bit like watching Neil Jenkins out here, the way he's kicking the ball. The rebirth of the Ginger Monster. Maybe not quite, but Wales stretching that lead now and beginning to look comfortable.
Well, they're taking control of the set pieces, and Canada are missing their first up tackles and putting pressure on the halfbacks, and Ross's kicking game can therefore not flourish.
Again, the Canadians miles offside from the restart. The Wales have possession. Sweeney putting pressure on there was Van Staveren, the wing forward. Pritchard once more close to the roof. Morgan Williams follows up. In goes Hughes. Welsh ball though, and it's Kevin Morgan who gets the ball wide, and Wales attempting to break inside their 22. Iestyn Harris, didn't he offload that ball magnificently well there to David Jones? Now it's Robin McBride to Jarvis. Big tackle coming in from Lawson, dislodging the ball, and Sharon gets it to Bob Ross. Back goes Williams.
Well, thankfully Martin Williams was covering, because once again Kevin Morgan's gone down, and he doesn't look right to me, but he's just said to the Welsh trainer physio, I'm okay. But this is the little chip down the blind side, and there's good old Martin Williams open side covering back, and thankfully he was. But Wales don't want these errors creeping in again when they've got or taking ball into contact.
Iestyn Harris though is having a quite magnificent game for Wales, with the boot and with the ball in hand. Cobain.
Go in 15.
Mike James penalised there. And a penalty to Wales.
Here's the penalty Chris White gave against Mike James, and there's Cobain. Well, it's all right when you've got a bit of control, and Europa doesn't like it. But I don't think Canada can change their game plan. You know, they're going to have to play catch-up rugby at some stage, but I just don't think they've got the penetration and the skill level and the pace in the back line to do that. So Wales looking pretty comfortable at this stage.
Gareth Cooper. Oh, well picked up by Jones. That came off the knee, I think, of Colin Jarvis, so it won't be a knock forward. Morgan Williams is back. Now, Canada can actually break from here. They've got numbers outside. Di Girolamo, he knocks forward, though. Scrummage to Wales. Enterprising play, though, from Canada and from Marco Di Girolamo, an exceptional sevens player, played in the Commonwealth Games in Manchester for Canada. But Pritchard looks like he's got a bit of gas. Him and Di Girolamo, the two players in the Canadian backline who look to have a bit of sprinting speed. Sweeney. That's a poor ball. Scruffy from Wales, picked up by Morgan. No infringement, though, that time. Managing somehow not to knock the ball on there, Wales. Cooper. And this is good work for Wales. Brent Cobain. In goes McBride, presenting the ball again. That's a poor kick though by Cooper. Might work out for him. That's the 22. Canada desperate defence now. Morgan Williams gets it back to Di Girolamo. "13 times cap, can play scrum half, centre or wing. Captain of his country sevens team on occasion. So many of these Canadians come through to the 15-a-side game from sevens. They really use the truncated version of rugby to develop their men. Taken to the tail by Gareth Llewellyn. Ooh, and a big hit coming in there on Duncan Jones. But now Cooper, Cobain. All muscle and brawn, Brent Cobain. Wales trying to use him as a ball carrier. Here's Sweeney once more. Yeston Harris, he's looked so good. This time he can't get away through. Robin McBride tries to pick the ball up. It's Gareth Cooper. Gets the ball out to Martin Williams, the British Lion. He's snaffled up and not releasing the ball. And Canada take it quickly, but the referee's going to call them back, Chris White.
Take it properly, please.
Morgan Williams thought he was off the Canadian scrum half. There's Martin Williams, just got isolated. Didn't have his support around him. Held on, hence the penalty.
Again, disappointing crowd here this evening. There were 40,000 for the New Zealand against Italy match, the first game in this pool, which was won by 70 points to 7 by New Zealand. Martin Williams was well wrapped up there. Hughes gets his hands on it, but knocked forward.
Canadians looking very much like Wales did for the first 10 minutes. Just making a lot of errors. Their set piece isn't working well. The scrum's going back. They're not winning their own line-out ball. They can't spend any time in the Welsh half. And as I say, the front rows have certainly exchanged a number of ideas between themselves over this first 40 minutes, or 39 minutes or so, and this side in particular is collapsing. And Chris White, the referee, will not show a lot of patience about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, crouch and hold, crouched and hold, engage.
Well, there's all sorts of problems on this loose head side. Rod Snow, very experienced player at 8 seasons with Newport. Free kick to Wales, and Gareth Thomas trying to move the ball forward through Martin Williams and the referee. The whistle has gone again, knocked forward.
Well, Steve Hansen, the Welsh coach, would not be happy about that. They got the free kick. Again, took it in a contact situation. I think somebody tried to give a 50-50 ball, went forward, and it breaks down. As you look to the bigger games, and Italy's looming for Wales in the not-too-distant future, they can't afford that sort of mistake.
Morgan Williams, Pritchard hit hard by Sonny Parker. Can Wales take advantage? Here's Mark Jones. He saw the space behind the defence. And there goes the half-time whistle. Well, it's been frenetic stuff at times. Wales have scored 2 tries, but they do now lead comfortably, and their captain, Colin Jarvis, will be a pretty reasonably happy man. Wales 20, Canada 3. We'll be back after the break.
Are we capable of bonus points here today, do you think?
We are. You know, we've scored 2 already. We need to go out there now. We need to pile on the pressure. We need to keep it going. You know, the first half wasn't the best, but we need to go and get on and push for the 2 tries.
OK, second half, our commentator Jamie Salmon and Mark Robson.
After Sonny Parker scored that try, you could almost see the tension easing in the shoulders of these Welsh players. There were a lot of nervous boys out there at the start of this match, fearing a disastrous defeat, no doubt here, but it looks very unlikely now as Kerry Sweeney chips the ball downfield and gains valuable yardage for his side. Talking to Robert Jones before the match, and he said he felt it was a good decision to bring Sweeney in for Stephen Jones, that he feels the 55 times capped Welsh scrum half and Lion, that Sweeney is the best out half in Wales at the moment. Morgan Williams to Bob Ross. Gareth Thomas, 2 tries short of Ian Evans' record of 33 tries for his country. And the referee says there was no knock-on there, similar to the Rod Snow incident in the first half. Now Mark Jones is screaming for the ball wide on the left-hand side, and here he is. The man whose hero is Ian Evans. And Williams going in very, very quickly, but the Canadians coming in off their feet, diving in, and it's Adam van Staveren who is penalised on the halfway line.
Yes, one of those passages of play where the kicks were being exchanged, and I don't think the counter-attacking abilities of both sides is particularly good, to be frank. And there's Jarvis, a couple of long passes. You know, the passes get there, but they don't commit anybody, and by the time that Jones gets it, there's 2 or 3 of them around him, but somewhat luckily get the penalty in my view.
Another one of those short line-outs. Here's Robin McBride. It worked well for him in the first half. No knock-on. Mark Jones goes in to clear the ball out for Wales. Now it's Cooper, and it's Colin Jarvis. There's a bit of a gap there, just outside the Canadian 22. Wales have numbers wide if they can move it. It's Kerry Sweeney who gets it to Kevin Morgan, and it's Gareth Thomas who's metres short. That looked to go forward, though. Yes, it did, as Gareth Thomas tried to release the ball.
Great pity, great pity. That's what Jarvis is good at. These are the good hands that almost results in Gareth Thomas getting in the corner. Ooh, bit of a head high, but he was going down, I suppose. But just went forward in the tackle. But big scrum here. Can Wales dominate the scrum again?
Well, Canada have struggled in the first half on that far side, on the loose head side in the scrummage. This time it looked a little bit more solid and structured, and Bob Ross gets the ball away, who got the old late handoff from Colin Jarvis in the first half, which led to that yellow card for the Welsh captain. 34 years of age now is Bob Ross, not too far behind Gareth Rees's all-time point-scoring record of 492 for Canada. What a servant he was. Robin McBride. This time it's short again.
Go on in there, you can have this far, I don't want you in there.
Yeah, I think it was saying that Gethin Jenkins wasn't in the line-out at the start of it, in their 4-man line-out, so he's penalised them with a penalty, straight hand penalty.
That's James Pritchard, the
Gentlemen, adjust Wales.
fullback whose family come from Saskatchewan, and Mark Lawson gets it to Mike James. Now Williams to Ross. Nick Witkowski made such a great break, if you remember, in the first half. That was Canada's one really penetrating run. No crossing, says the referee. A suspicion of it there. Van Staveren, help from Hughes. Better stuff from Canada. Morgan Williams gets it back to the tight head prop, John Teal. Ross. That's a one for Pritchard to chase. Mark Jones underneath it. Did well. And presents it pretty nicely too. Williams, referee, saying the ball is out. So play goes on. And eventually Canada get the penalty as Colin Jarvis, I think, came diving in.
Best passage of play from Canada for quite some time. Managed to get it through the hands, create a couple of phases, and decision time for Al Sharon. Is he going to kick it goal? Get some points on the board? No, he's going for the corner, which is a positive move. Go for line-out, catch and drive from the line-out, I suspect.
So the pressure coming on at the start of this second half from Canada. As we look at the penalty decision again, Colin Jarvis it was, off his feet. Shows the interest of the respective countries. 30 reporters here from Wales, only 3 from Canada, as they pick the ball up again. And it's Teal running straight and hard and fast. Good possession. They need it quick here. The ball's got to come back from there, and Wales have managed to disrupt it slightly. Morgan Williams tied up. Di Girolamo has to play scrum half. Bob Ross. They must go on the left-hand side, and that's where all the Canadian players are. Josh Jackson, well tackled. And Wales turning the ball round, turning it over. And Canada, unfortunately, losing the opportunity there, and they really were in a very good try-scoring position.
Good defensive organisation from Wales, and it was well, it was the captain, Colin Chavez, leading by example. Terrific tackle earlier on in that Canadian move, and their defence got organised. From each facet of play, players knew which side of the ruck or maul to stand.
Clive Griffiths, the defensive coach for Wales.
Do it again. No, he hasn't touched it at all. It's front rows. It's not your fault, lads. That's not your fault. It's between the halfbacks. Get square, please. No, I want you square. Get your head back. Crouch, hold, engage.
Concrete scrummage from Wales, giving Gareth Cooper plenty of time, but he misses touch. No excuses there. Pritchard, tackled by Thomas. Morgan Williams, little dart from him. He's tackled by Jarvis.
That's where Canada need a runner. Look, they're too deep. They're 5-6 yards behind the gain line. They're not organised. They don't know who's running to take the pop ball at pace. And before we had Morgan Williams running at Jarvis, which is not a fair battle.
Yes, they are taking the ball standing still, and that's not a good kick.
Yes.
Gareth Cooper takes it quickly. Yeston Harris inside his own 22. A lot of sliced kicks in this match this evening, under the closed roof of the Telstra Dome here in Melbourne. Seeded 7 matches in this World Cup. Very well taken by Cooper. Jarvis, emergency scrum half duties, gets it to Sweeney. Kevin Morgan. He's taking a bit of pressure off this Welsh defence, who've been a little bit beleaguered in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Quite close on position and territory, but Wales have been far more incisive when they had the opportunities. They've scored the 2 tries. Taken by Josh Jackson. Used a huge amount of the line out by Canada. Now you can see where the coaching work of Topo Rodriguez comes into play, as well as in the scrummaging. He's been working hard with the pack alongside Dave Clark. Morgan Williams. Close attention from Colin Jarvis. Oh, the mistake from Gareth Thomas. Winston Stanley goes in. The referee playing advantage to Canada for the not forward, and it's become a penalty.
Well, hopefully Wales will rectify how they start games and start the second halves for their remaining group games. They really, I think, should have come out firing the second half and look to get another 2 tries on the board to get that vital bonus point, especially in this sort of group. And now they've got to start from scratch again, because it's shades of how they started the first half. Alsharon, how he's here, I just do not know. That right knee, his cruciate ligament went 3 months ago, which normally takes a year to mend, and he's back 3 months later at the age of 27. Must be different cruciates in Canada.
Well, they are lumberjacks. They're hard men. Although the rugby league fans in this part of the world don't have much respect for rugby union players, they call them cappuccino cowboys.
Hey, gentlemen. Come on, lads, you don't need it.
But his knee virtually exploded 3 months ago, I'm told, and how he's come back at his age to play again for his country and captain them is amazing. But just reading the Canadian players manual and the Canadian squad, most respected captain, and almost all of them pick this man.
Stay on, Jones, stay on. Hands off now, hands off, Canada, hands off.
Cooper, Cobain, ball carrier, frequently for Wales. Not quite in the David Lyons class. Australian, of course. Yeston Harris. And that was pinpoint.
He's done well, hasn't he? He's, as the lads in the studio were saying, he stood up and he's made his presence felt in this game, which is augurs well for the rest of the competition, for him and of course Wales. But he's been terrific, and as Jan I think was saying, that getting his kicks certainly helps keep that scoreboard ticking over, especially when the team wasn't playing so well.
Wales in white, remember. In case you've just joined us and expecting to see them in red, they're playing in their change strip this evening. Leading by 20 points to 3, that was the half-time score. Cooper, Kerry Sweeney for the drop at goal. We had one in the first half from Bob Ross for Canada. That's Rod Snow. Ross looking to chip away behind that Welsh defence. Across comes Kevin Morgan. Pritchard once more. Jones. Yeston Harris. And he does fine touch. He's had a very composed and athletic afternoon as Yeston Harris. Certainly, in my mind, the best of the Welsh backs.
Not Sweeney's best option this afternoon, and Yeston Harris might like to have a word with him to say, well, you know, let's get 2 or 3 phases and a few more yards down and closer to the goal post before we need to do that. But they don't want drop goals, they want tries. I'd push on for these 2 extra tries and let's get this bonus point. There doesn't seem to be the urgency or the realisation of it. Very surprised.
Wales prepared to bring on a replacement. Yes, I mean, that match that we did last night, Ireland against Romania, you know, after the game, talking to Keith Wood and Eddie O'Sullivan, they said, well, you know, we achieved our goal tonight. We won the match, and we got the bonus point, we got the 4 tries. You know, a little bit of rust in the system. It's now out of the system, and we're underway. And Wales, you feel, have to do that. When you look at the Canadian build-up for this tournament, they only managed to beat Uruguay in 8 matches. Robert Sidoli, by the way, coming on for Brent Cobain. So it's not a particularly strong Canadian side, this, and really Wales must take full advantage of that now that they have the win pretty much secured. Here's Yeston Harris again. He is evasive. Cooper. Robin McBride. Wales attempting to build the phases this time. Gareth Cooper to Jarvis. Cooper. Sweeney. Gareth Llewellyn in midfield. And diving in the Wales forwards, Martin Williams, I think, this time, and they've been guilty of that on several occasions.
He's late arriving, went off his feet.
It doesn't look urgent and positive and any pace or power attached to it. It just looks ponderous at the moment to me. It just doesn't. There needs somebody there to really crack the whip now and say, come on guys, you know, there's Gareth Llewellyn, look, there's 3 Canadians there, Martin Williams straight down on his knees. That's why the penalty's being given. Well, they practice these things, they know who their runners are. I'm surprised in some ways they've taken Cobain off, because he's more of a runner than Llewellyn is, to be frank, but they're not helping themselves, Wales, at the moment.
Josh Jackson looks like a very good athlete to me in that line-out for Canada. He's won a lot of ball. De Girolamo feeding it to Rod Snow, who knocks the ball forward.
2 hands on it. We knocked it on, lads.
Well, both sides struggling to get any continuity in their play at the moment and go 2, 3, 4 phases. And hopefully Wales could. Plenty of time left, don't get me wrong. There's no point panicking and running it from everywhere at the moment to go and search this bonus point, but the sooner you get it, the better, I feel.
Better scrummage from Canada, managing to be much more disruptive there. The player under pressure was Duncan Jones, the Welsh loose head. Now Sonny Parker's through. Sonny Parker's got support from Mark Jones. It's that 3rd try for Wales. They need 1 more for the bonus point. Well, it happened in a flash. 25 points to 3.
Well, to be fair to Wales, they saw a chance, they saw an opening. Guess who saw it? Guess who popped the pass? And that was Yeston Harris. And they finished it. They were clinical in their finishing. Great upside for them. They'd not been playing well. They got a chance, took it. Thanks very much. Move on.
Yes, it was the incisiveness we were talking about that Wales have had maybe 4 or 5 opportunities to score tries, and they've taken 3 of them. That's pretty clinical.
Wingers like that sort of try. 20 yards to go.
And Yeston Harris, and once again, Jimmy, you know, he's been the orchestrator, hasn't he, really, of everything that's been good about the Welsh attacking play.
Yeah, he's been the centre point for them, no question about that. And he looks comfortable. He looks, you know, happy in the surroundings, and I'm sure he is helping Kerry Sweeney as we see Jones amble in, really, to be frank. But no, Yeston Harris has been super, and let's hope this is a tournament where he can really prove his doubters wrong. And to be fair, you know, to be honest about it, I've been one of them in the past.
Yeah, tonight he looks like a man with time, always a sign of class. Di Girolamo, Morgan Williams. So it's pretty much all over for Canada, just outside the Welsh 22. Williams to Van Staveren. Gareth Llewellyn with the tackle there.
Okay, it's free tackling one player there. Number 12's had to go around because of it. Scrum down, Canada ball.
Thorough explanation there from Chris White, which is always helpful.
Hang on, gentlemen, we've got no balls, so we're not going to go down yet. Have a crouch, please, and
The
engage.
confusion of the tackle situation. And again, look at that. Jones getting his own back on the tight head John Teal. That's Gareth Thomas with a chip through. Bob Ross is back. Here's Morgan Williams. Martin Williams chip through for Wales. Pritchard in all sorts of trouble here. Gobbled up by Martin Williams and by Kerry Sweeney. And bullocked over his own line.
Just the time not to be a fullback. That's the last sort of ball you want. But good pressure by Wales. Make the tackles, put them under pressure. Don't let them get out at all. One against the head for Wales. Quick early ball. Wingers like space. One-on-one. Good odds. Little grubber through. Now, Wales might go for a pushover here.
Great chance here for the Dragons. Cooper. Jones and Thomas together. Half a metre short. Chris White looking very closely, and Colin Jarvis peels and scores that 4th try to pick up the bonus point for Wales. Well, he was the guilty party. He was the villain in the first half when the captain got the yellow card. And now a slightly more heroic contribution to the Welsh cause.
Yes, very much so. Very good play from Daffyd Jones. Well over the gain line, almost to the try line. And a little swivel from the captain just before the line. Wasn't held, that's fine. He wasn't held, he wasn't tackled. He's fully entitled to do that. On the line is perfectly all right. Doesn't need to be over the line at all. So Steve Hansen will be quite happy, and I suspect he might start thinking of giving a couple of other guys a run in the game. And Yeston Harris once again slots it absolutely straight between the posts.
Yes, Wales are beginning to take players off now. Robin McBride leaving the pitch. Hugh Bennett will come on. And Adam Jones as well, the tight head prop. 34 points to 3. Adam Jones gets his first touch. Sort of a dark-haired version of Adam Jones with that shock of almost permed hair. Morgan Williams. Di Girolamo. Completely upended. Al Sharon has also left the pitch, and I'm not surprised. He's done fantastically well to get here in the first place.
And he's doing a warm down. Well done him. He wants to play in this last World Cup. Must be hard for him.
Ryan Smith, number 22. Which means that Bob Ross will leave the pitch. And there he goes. So Ryan Smith wins his 7th cap, the Ontario out half.
inside and up, backing up. He's gone outside the scrum and up. He is straight.
What, me, ref? No chance.
You say it's gone outside and straight up. Don't want him to do it again.
Duncan Jones penalised. James Pritchard gets the ball into touch, and this is what the penalty was for.
Going outside the scrum and then just coming in on the angle and going in an upward motion is what the referee, Chris White, penalised him for. Mistake by Canada now off the line out there.
Hasn't made too many mistakes in that area, Josh Jackson, for Canada. Pritchard. Morgan holds for the mark. Didn't look as if the Canadians had retreated there, but now it's Gareth Thomas for Wales. Tackled by Hughes. There's a flag up on the far side. Touch judge. George Ayoub, the Australian official.
This is a good tactic by Welsh, this short line out. It gives the runners in midfield, the Chavises of the team and people like that, to really go at the midfield of Canada, get a good platform and go either way from there. Pulling down.
Yeah. Looked like he was taken out there, Gareth Llewellyn, when he was in the air.
Yeah. Take the penalty. Okay, thank you.
So Wales get the penalty. Gareth Llewellyn, Wales' most capped forward. Brother Gwyn also capped for his country 9 times. There you can see he was taken out while in mid-air, and of course we saw a rather nasty injury to Dave Giffen caused by a similar sort of thing in the Australia-Argentina game. Jones. Comfortable line out for Wales, with some sloppy handling in midfield. Again, it's Yeston Harris with the David Blaine sleight of hand. Kerry Sweeney, looks like Mark Jones though was in front of the kicker. Yeah, he was well in front of the man who pushed the ball through. So penalty to Canada.
Well, there's still just under 20 minutes to go in this game, and I hope Wales don't go through the motions. It'd be good if they really kept the foot on the pedal, because the games that really count in this group, and I think ahead to Italy in particular, they're going to have to play for 80 minutes, and I don't think it's a game or a competition you can just switch on or off.
Well, we could be seeing the end of Al Sharon's career here, because that knee, well packed in ice. What a warrior he has been for his country over the years. Here's another one. Winston Stanley. Williams. Jackson. Looks like a fine prospect, does Josh Jackson. Morgan Williams ferreting away. Again, getting sucked into the ruck. Jackson to ground. And Williams away. Not very effectively though, and putting Pritchard under a little bit of pressure, and he has to hurry that kick, and it's Mark Jones. Now Wales just inside their own half. It's Mark Jones, the try scorer. Great run by Mark Jones. Kevin Morgan tackled by Pritchard and by Morgan Williams, but he got the ball back quickly. Now Jones. The Jean-Pierre Rive look-alike, but it's a knock forward this time, I think.
It's not the first and the second. Not the first and the second. Everybody okay? Stay, please.
I do not want the number of his hairdresser, by the way.
Well, not a bad counter-attack by Wales, and recycled it, and Duncan Jones gets a good rumble. Something that's him still waiting for some treatment.
Yeah, the 25-year-old is injured. On comes Mark Taylor, British Lion, 30 years of age now. There's the Canadian box. Dave Clark at the front there, very experienced coach. That's where Duncan Jones sustained his injury, the Neathbourne loose head. And Wales now bringing on Dwayne Peel for Gareth Cooper. An scrum half. His 11th game as a replacement in those 21 caps of his. So Steve Hansen certainly making the changes. Wales very much out of sight in this match. Taylor on for Sweeney, Mark Taylor.
The Canadian scrum is coming a very comfortable second at the moment and making life pretty miserable for Morgan Williams to clear any sort of ball to his back line.
Ryan Smith with a clearing kick. Hugh Bennett qualifies for Wales, although he played for the England under-16 and under-18 sides, but with Welsh parents. Sidoley not forward. It's all become a little bit scrappy, as so often happens when one side gets so far in front and then begins to bring on all the replacements from the bench, and you lose your continuity, you lose your rhythm. Alan Phillips and Steve Hansen there. Steve Hansen who replaced Graham Henry, of course.
Lads, both of you went down then. Stand up, both sides went down then. It's come back to me.
With Kerry Sweeney off the pitch, by the way, Yeston Harris will move to fly half, where he's played before for Wales. And they've had quite a few problems in that scrummage tonight. He's actually asked Andre Watson to keep an eye on the scrummage on this side. So they've got two officials with the microscope on this. Pritchard did well under pressure. Wales 34, Canada 3. They play Tonga next Sunday. Colin Jarvis just taking a bit of a dig in the ribs and feeling it too, as the captain winces.
Pretty deliberate too, by the looks of things, and the Canadian forwards, even though they're getting beaten, should also remember that you can get cited for things like that, because there's a few cameras positioned around this ground.
Pushing by Llewellyn. Yeah, the next game in this pool is Italy against Tonga on Wednesday. Then New Zealand play Canada on Friday, and then Wales, Tonga on Sunday. And New Zealand looked very impressive in their opening game, although they've lost Tana Umaga and perhaps Joe Rokothoko as well, who's got a hamstring problem, which will put him out for a match or two at least, we think. Jones, the tight head replacement. Yeston Harris, Mark Taylor, vast experience in the centre for Wales and for the Lions. Up to the halfway line. Peel, Jones. Peel, Harris. Mark Jones again coming in off his wing. Peel looking for width this time with Jones. You've got Gareth Thomas outside. Hughes with a half-hearted tackle. Jones going very well there. Still going, my goodness. Smith. No, caught by Taylor and by Thomas. Pritchard. More room to work that time than Smith had. Allowing himself more room.
Duffy Jones has impressed me a lot this evening, the Welsh back rower. Sometimes packs down at 8 and Jarvis goes on the blind side, but I've been impressed with his anticipation play. Back row forwards, you know, a lot of it's about anticipation. Where's the ball going to go? Is somebody going to come back on an angle? And he's anticipated the play very well, I think, and also carried the ball well.
Yes, he's had 3 tests. He started 3 tests at number 8. That didn't work too well for Wales in the line-out.
Wales have gone up too soon.
No advantage. Wales going up too soon, says Chris White. That's well regathered by Morgan Williams. But Wales disrupting enough to prevent the quick release. This is Hughes now. Big second row forward, who's put on 12 kilograms in the last year. And that's a penalty taken quickly by Williams. Didn't look as if Jones was 10 metres though, and the referee Chris White playing the advantage. Canada still showing great endeavour and enthusiasm in this match. Credit to them. They trail by 34 points to 3. Teal. Smith. Pritchard. Mark Jones on this side, looking to gather the ball, but he's beaten to it by Dave Lockheed, the 35-year-old former Leicester winger. Such vast experience. And Canada getting the penalty, and they've taken it quickly. Josh Jackson, 5 metres short for Canada. Di Girolamo, tackled by Morgan. Good ball for Canada here. James Pritchard waits. It's picked up by Cudmore. Or he shoos it back for Williams. Brian Smith waits it out half. Here he is, coming off the wing is Dave Lockheed. Big smashing tackles going in the midfield on Nick Witkowski. But Canada at last get some reward for their pressure with a penalty, and I think Chris White is reaching for the pocket again. Yeah, don't come in from the side, he said. So Sonny Parker gets 10 minutes, one of Wales' try scorers in the first half. He was warned.
Well, somewhat surprisingly, although Chris White did warn him about it. But when you look at the scoreline, and Wales have had 2 in the sin bin and Canada none. Not the usual way around it goes, but Parker was told, to be fair to the referee.
Wales trying to use the power in that pack. 1 metre short. Morgan Williams picks up. That's number 17, Kevin Tachuk. And Tachuk is there. Well, the arm is up from Chris White. Celebrations amongst the Maple Leafs as Canada get their first try of this World Cup, and they really did battle very, very hard indeed. And it is Kevin Tachuk, the Oxford Blue from Manitoba, who's awarded the 5 points.
Well, it was from all of a yard. Sidoli's all over Morgan Williams, but manages to Mark Taylor having a go at the tackle, and Chris White's bending down, and it looks like they got downward pressure there.
Conversion successful from John Pritchard. 7 minutes to go. Wales 34, Canada 10.
Well, they've stuck at it, Canada. Give them credit for that. Very encouraging start they made, but they've struggled in the middle part of the game, and that's their reward. And certainly Jamie Cudmore was having a pop there. Sonny Parker on the bench, and he'll be lucky to get back on, I think.
Yeah, it's the last we'll see of him. Jackson. Lost in the tackle by Jackson, knocking forward. So Wales getting the scrummage right in front of the Canadian post here, inside their 22.
Once again, Chavez packing down at blindside, and Daffyd Jones at 8. Could be a planned move on.
Dwayne Pale. And back covering is Dave Lockheed.
Didn't need to kick it. Why kick it? You're in the 22, you're 10-15 yards from the line. Keep hold of the ball, have faith in your ability to retain possession, or look for your loosies on the inside. I really hope Chavez now, as captain, cracks the whip and says, right guys, let's give it a really good last 5 to 8 minutes here. and let's really concentrate the minds and be able to lift it. At some stage they're going to have to lift it in the last 10 minutes of the game, and I just don't think it's a tap you turn on and off.
Come on, let's go. Canada, let's go.
Pritchard restarts. Taken by Colin Jarvis, who thunders into his opposite number, Josh Jackson. Peel and Yeston Harris, perhaps his first mistake of the game, picked up by Mark Taylor. Mark Taylor, another man who's recovered from a serious knee injury. Jones. Grappled to the ground by Jamie Cudmore. Peel. Bennett. Scrummage 2 Wales. This part of a Super Sunday here on ITV Sport. Remember, coming up, Scotland against Japan from Townsville, and England play tonight as well against Georgia. This is the first of those 3 games.
Hang on, gentlemen. No scrum.
Well, back to the scrummage, and again, Jarvis backing down on this blind side, as you can see.
Dwayne Peel. Yeston Harris. Yeston Harris is strong as well as skillful. What a good game he has had all round. Preventing the release, I think that was, by Margaret Girolamo. Penalty to Wales.
Well, Sonny Parker killed the ball, so did this man, but he didn't get a yellow card. You know, I like Chris White as a referee, but there is consistency. I know it's the operative word we all use, but what he did there was no different really to what Sonny Parker did 5 minutes ago, to be frank.
Thank you, Frank. Gareth Llewellyn jumping at 2, where he's jumped so successfully all through his career. Colin Jarvis. Good tackle there, though, by Jimmy Cudmore. Hitting Jarvis hard, 5 metres short. And Canada managing to turn the ball over. Josh Jackson playing out half this time, and that's not a bad kick. And I think he's a good footballer, Josh Jackson. Only his 4th cap. There was no place in this squad for Phil Murphy, the former Perpignan number 8, and you can see why this fella Jackson is rated highly by David Clark.
Yeah, he looks one of the fitter ones too. There's a few Canadian forwards in particular walking at the moment, and a few looking fairly tired.
I think Colin Hughes needs some hair product as well. Llewellyn. Jones. Peel. Yeston Harris. Little miss pass. Mark Jones taking the ball from Kevin Morgan inside the Canadian 22. Penalty written all over that. In from the side and off the feet. No more. Well, it's just what you were saying before, Jamie, isn't it, about consistency?
Yeah, I suppose Sonny Parker was just a couple of yards, but White is now telling them next time yellow. I think Jarvis is saying, hold on a minute, what's good for us is good for them, surely, which is a fair call from Jarvis.
Yeah.
Although Mark Jones turned the wrong way in that tackle. They were a bit lucky in some ways because he was turned in the tackle.
Wales have managed to develop the half-time lead of 20 points to 3 to 34 points to 10. And remember, they have picked up a bonus point here for scoring 4 tries. 4 points for a match win, 1 extra one for a bonus.
Coming on, Jeff Jenkins, on the line for Duncan Jones.
Peel. Yeston Harris. Interesting kick for Gareth Thomas. Just a little bit too much height on it.
It wasn't quite deep enough either. You've got to be running onto those. You can't be static. You've got to really attack those to get a spring to leap up. But just too far, really.
It's a kick, of course, mastered by Johnny Wilkinson. England have scored a lot of tries that way. Will Wales be a threat in this pool, Jamie Salmon?
I think they will be. I think that obviously they've got a physical game against Tonga, but very much winnable. And their D-Day is without doubt Italy. I think that is the crucial game for them. Where Wales are lucky, they've got a week's break or 9 on a week's break for each game, where the other sides haven't, apart from New Zealand, obviously. So they can really take use of the breaks they've got, and I'm much encouraged. Back row's been great, and a certain chap called Harris has been fantastic.
Siddeley. Good ball outside, and now Gareth Thomas. Gareth Thomas for the line. Gareth Thomas scores, and his traditional celebration. It's his 32nd try for his country on his 69th appearance in his 3rd Rugby World Cup, and just one now behind Ian Evans.
Well, a very good way to round off the proceedings. Good finishing and great interpassing as well. Llewellyn's in there. Sidoli, he gets it away well over the top pass. Dwayne Peel out the back of the hand, changed direction from Thomas, and we've seen that before.
Beautiful delivery of the ball to Gareth Thomas by Dwayne Peel, though, and he was the man who ultimately made the score. Yeston Harris with the conversion attempt. He's been magnificent all night. And the referee brings the match to an end as Wales pass the 40-point mark, and they've got their World Cup campaign underway successfully by beating Canada by 41 points to 10. Rejoicing for Colin Jarvis and for Steve Hansen in the Wales